All right, so imagine you're trying to predict the entire economy. It's a huge task, right? For decades, economists felt like they were missing a massive piece of the puzzle. And then this totally revolutionary solution pops up. And the crazy part? It all came from thinking about simple parlor games.
I mean, is the economy just one giant game? It sounds like a crazy question, but it's exactly what one groundbreaking book forced everyone to start asking. And look, this didn't just shake up economics. No, it completely reframed how we understand human interaction. The whole shebang, from business deals to global politics.
So, what was this big problem that had everyone stumped? Well, classical economics was actually really good at one thing, predicting what a single person would do. Someone just trying to get the best deal for themselves. But the real world? It's not a solo act. It's a crowded, messy, chaotic stage. The book lays this out with a really brilliant analogy. They call it the Robinson Crusoe problem. So picture Crusoe, all alone on his island. His choices are pretty straightforward, right? Gather coconuts, build a shelter, maximize his own gain. But then, boom, a second person washes ashore. Suddenly, everything changes. Your success isn't just about what you do anymore. It's totally tangled up with what they decide to do. And this quote from the book just nails it. This is the heart of the problem. Your results depend on their actions. Your best move depends on what you think their best move is going to be, which of course depends on what they think your best move is going to be. You can see how this quickly becomes this crazy, dizzying feedback loop. So yeah, this was the massive puzzle that had economists totally stumped. I mean, think about it. How on earth do you create a mathematical model for that? How can you predict anything when every single choice is connected and all the players are actively trying to outsmart each other? It seems impossible. Well, the answer, when it came, was a complete game changer. It required a total shift in thinking. The idea was, what if we stop looking at the economy like a complicated machine, and instead, we start looking at it like, well, a game? And that's exactly what happened in 1944. Two absolute giants, the mathematician John von Neumann and the economist Oscar Morgenstern, they dropped this book, Theory of Games and Economic Behavior. And this wasn't some minor update. They didn't just tweak the old models. They gave us a brand new language for talking about strategy. This was the big idea, the crucial leap. What if economic behavior isn't just about maximizing stuff for yourself? What if it's a game of strategy? They argued that basically any situation where people's outcomes are linked, we're talking everything from a simple negotiation to a massive corporate price war, could be analyzed just like a game of chess or poker. But to do that, you need rules. You need a language. So the first thing they did was create a super precise vocabulary. They took words we all use when talking about games and gave them these rock-solid mathematical definitions. Let's walk through them. Okay, first up, the game. Now, in game theory, this doesn't just mean Monopoly or something. The game is the entire situation. It's the complete set of rules, who the players are, what moves they're allowed to make, and what the final payoff is. Next, you have a play. A play is just one single time the game is played out, from start to finish. So if the game is the rulebook for chess, a play is that one specific match you had with your friend last Tuesday, from the first move right up to checkmate. And every play, of course, is made up of a bunch of moves. A move is simply any point where a player has to make a choice. It's a decision point. It could be moving a pawn, raising the stakes in poker, or, launching a billion-dollar company merger. And finally, we get to strategy. And this is key. A strategy isn't just your plan for the next move. No, it's your complete plan. It's a full-on playbook that says exactly what you'll do in every single possible situation that could ever come up in the game. And once you have this language, you can start to map out the chaos. This right here is a game tree, and it's an incredibly powerful way to visualize the stuff. It lets you see every possible path the game could take. See? Each branch is a different move, and the very end of each branch is one possible final outcome. Okay, but here's the thing. Building a good strategy, let alone a winning one, boils down to one absolutely crucial factor: information. Specifically, what do you know and what do your opponents know? And this idea of information creates this really important split. On one side, you have games of perfect information, where every player knows everything that's happened in the game so far. And on the other, you have games of imperfect information, where some things are kept secret.
Chess is the classic example of perfect information. Just look at the board. All the pieces are right there in plain sight. There are no hidden cards, no secrets. In theory, you could calculate the absolute best move because it's all just a matter of logic. But then you have poker. Poker is a masterclass in imperfect information. Why? Because you can't see your opponent's cards. And that single fact, that missing information, changes everything. The game stops being just about pure logic and becomes about psychology, about reading people, and deception. And it's in these games of imperfect information where things get really interesting. Suddenly, a whole new world of strategy opens up. You have to think about signaling, about maybe misleading your opponent on purpose. And, of course, you have the bluff. Game theory actually gives us a way to mathematically analyze bluffing. How cool is that? So, as you can probably guess, this way of thinking was way too powerful to stay stuck in economics. It absolutely exploded. It burst out and became this incredible new tool for understanding, well, almost all strategic behavior, human or not. I mean, these ideas spread like wildfire. A few years after the book came out, it directly inspired John Nash. Yes, that John Nash and his famous work. And get this, by the time the Cold War was heating up, superpowers were literally using game theory to model nuclear strategy. They were trying to calculate the next move in what was probably the highest stakes game in human history. And today, its influence is just everywhere. It's a cornerstone of economics, for sure, but also political science and military strategy. Computer scientists use it to build AIs that can learn and compete. Even biologists use it to understand evolution as this epic long-term game of survival. So when you boil it all down, the real gift of this book was a new lens, a new way to see the world. It gave us a formal language to talk about strategy, to model both conflict and cooperation, and to find the hidden logic in the messy, complicated dance of human interaction. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? Once you start looking for them, you see these games everywhere. Negotiating a raise, figuring out office politics, even just choosing which checkout line to join at the grocery store. So the question is, what games are you playing in your own life? What are the rules? And what's your next move?